It's easy to give away the freedoms you don't value. Today on the Landlord Coach Daily-ish show, let's get it going.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Landlord Coach Daily-ish show. My name is Mark Dolfini, Landlord Coach, and your host. And this guy back here, Landlord Coach. It's good to see you, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. If you're joining me live, let me know where you're coming from. Or if you're watching this live, let me know that it's live. Hashtag live. Hashtag live or hashtag replay. I'd like to know how many actual people watch this thing. I see so many people watching it after the fact that I don't even know. So I'd like to know who you are and where you're about. So what are we talking about today? We are talking about how easy it is to give away freedoms that you don't place a value on. And I do some of my best thinking in the shower, and I realize that that's probably way oversharing, but that's also why I take my phone into the bathroom, because a lot of times I'm like literally brain dumping as I'm like, with shampoo running into my eyes. So I'm like trying to type stuff in my text, and I don't know why that is. It's just, I don't know. And I really do. I have a lot of like really like book ideas and like marketing ideas and all sorts of things. I don't know. It just seems to come then. And of course, when you go to lay down to sleep and my brain chatters like a 3-year-old and has all these different thoughts and everything. So I have to get them out. Otherwise, I just simply won't go to sleep. So, but anyway, as I had some ideas, this particular thing, I was going to write an article, and I was thinking about it, and it's really kind of a pointless article to write, because the people that I'd be directing this article to would absolutely not read it, and they would just, it's funny how whenever I post something on Landlord Coach, how many trolls I have that will post stuff about, Mao, and how they love the thought of landlordicide, basically murdering landlords, because they feel that's, I don't know if they're trying to be funny or really what the point is, but they feel like that, landlords are the lowest form of, human and all this other crap. And I'm thinking, so you think the government would do better at housing than the free market? Okay. I see your point, but clearly you haven't thought this through. So I was, going through this whole idea of, well, why would you think that would be a better alternative than having the private market do it, having the private market handle the housing? And I'm thinking, you want to leave it up to the government to say how many people should live in a dwelling, right? And you think that the quality of the dwelling is going to be whatever you get to decide. They obviously haven't thought that through, because, government housing has never made the front cover of Better Homes and Gardens. So I'm sitting there thinking about this. Now that's not exactly true. I can remember some general quarters on bases that were really super duper nice, but those were definitely the exceptions. But getting back to my point, you think that housing controlled by the government is going to be a better alternative, and, you'd be happier, living in places like that. And I'm sitting there thinking, it's not going to matter, because there's so many other freedoms that they're willing to give up, that they see housing as a basic right. And because housing is a basic right, they feel like that shouldn't have to be something that's paid for. Well, which I suppose I understand that, but my argument would be to them, that starts down such a slippery slope that you'll never be able to stop, because one could argue that mobility is a basic human right, so therefore everybody should have a vehicle, should have a car, and that, communication is also a basic human right, so everybody should also have a cell phone, and on it goes. So as I got thinking about it, the fundamental issue there is if it's easy to give up freedoms that you're not taking advantage of, and people are thinking, well, that's socialism, you shouldn't want that. Well, why would they care? Why would they care that it's socialism when they really don't understand what socialism is. They don't understand what individual freedoms that they'd be giving up to better, the overall good. So I was thinking about that, but that, and of course that is the far left, whack job, cancel renters that think that, that again, housing is a basic human right, that no one should pay rent, and that's okay. But is it though? Is it just the far left whack jobs? It isn't really. I mean, if you want to think about this, I was thinking about this from the aspect of people who come and they look at my course, the course that I have, right? And even the free download. So I'll just plug this free download here real quick. So there's a free download that I have. It's landlordcoach.com/5 mistakes. So here's the interesting thing. If I put on that ad, how to make an extra $10,000, in the next 2 weeks, that would get flooded with material. Now, that's not what I'm about. I do have material that could teach someone how to do that, but that's not really what I'm about. What I'm more about is people getting intentional on how they use their time. And I don't care what you use your additional time for, but when I see so many people coming onto my site, and I can see how long they're on there. Generally, they're there for only a few seconds because they realize it's, some ad has driven them there or whatever. So if I go to landlordcoach.com/5 mistakes, it's about how to buy rental properties the right way. It's not about buying with no money down. It's not some scheme that I see else. I am not trying to be like anybody else on the internet. I'm not trying to be another, what fill in the blank, who says, oh, I can, I'm gonna show a check, I'm gonna flash a check on there and say, look at the, all the money that I've made. You look at the piles of checks that I've made. Look at all the money. Like, it's really feeding into people's significance and their need for importance and their desire that they don't place a value on their time. They're not placing a value on their time, so why would they care? They're very willing to give up more time with their kids because they're already doing it. There'll always be more time to do whatever else it is, right? And this is, again, this isn't a judgment. This is a confession. I did the same thing for years. There's always going to be enough time to catch up with friends. There's always going to be enough time to catch up with whatever, until one of my friends died. And I couldn't go to his funeral because I had so much stuff that was stacked up that I just couldn't go. And I was thinking, holy crap, I gave away so much of my freedom. I gave away so much of my freedom being chained to my business that, I never realized how difficult it was to unravel from that. Now, anybody, if you're out there and you have a small business, I know you get this. I know you understand this. I mean, go if you're a small business owner out there, let me know, because I feel your pain. But what's interesting was, we do all sorts of stuff. We wear all sorts of different hats. We have to wear the marketing hats. We have to wear the legal hats. We have to wear the customer service hats. They have to wear the HR hats. We have to wear the accountant hats. We have to wear the payroll hats. All these different hats that we're wearing, right? But it's funny because if I said to you, you only have 3 or 4 hours a day to get all that stuff done, you'd say that's impossible. But yet, that's exactly what I felt when I started down that road of, here I had 90 plus rental units. I'm working 20-hour days sometimes just trying to get everything going, get everything upright and, getting everything operating the right way. And it was awful. I didn't value any of my time. And it wasn't until I started having wake-up calls about friends dying, friends having these big major life events. I had family members coming to, that were coming from out of from out of the country to visit my family, and I couldn't get away. And my mom even offered, she says, well, I'll offer to pay for your ticket. I was like, Mom, it's not about that. I can afford the flight. I just can't afford the time away from my business right now. It was too crazy. And my uncle was coming in from Scotland. So, I didn't value my freedom. I didn't value my time. And that's really and maybe I'll admit, I know I get a little preachy on this at times, and I hope that certainly you understand it's coming from a good place. Whether people buy my book or go to my free download or whatever, it's not really about that, because it's not about the money for me. It's about getting that message out there that enough people learn to place value on their freedoms, learn to place value on their time. I mean, we are literally in the best country in the world. We're the envy of everybody. And, if you don't believe that, then you probably wouldn't be watching me, because I am very much a patriot. I absolutely believe this. But if you're not taking advantage of the freedoms that you have, then you're not going to place a value on them. You're not going to say, well, I don't value my free time, so why would I want more of it? Because I'm very willing to spend 2 or 3 hours scrolling on Facebook or Instagram or whatever every single day, because I don't place a value on my time. But if I said, well, hey, you've only got 2 hours today to get all your work done so you can go and lay on the beach for the rest of the day, I don't know that you'd be wasting much time on nonsense, on getting into the scroll hole of Facebook or Instagram or whatever, right? So, like I said, when I put this, and you can go there. I mean, this is actually a thing. If you want to go to landlordcoach.com/5 mistakes, there's a free download there you can check out. But my point there is that, it's a very valuable download. I mean, there's lots of different mistakes that people are making when you're going to the when you're not buying or underwriting or looking at the cash flow analysis of your properties the right way. That's one of the main things on that. But anyway, you can go there and check that out. But it's easy to give away freedoms that you don't value, and that's what the most frustrating things that I see. That people are just not taking the time to value. What would it be? Let's say, for argument's sake, you woke up tomorrow morning and you had $50 million in your bank account. What would you do from that point on, day to day? Now, of course, you're going to probably go out and go on spending sprees and all this other stuff, but I'm talking about your activity. What would you do? What would you be spending the time if income generation was not an issue? What would you be spending your time on? What would you be spending your time if income generation was no object? Okay? So that, to me, is the litmus test that I think that is most important. That, what do you value? What freedoms are most important to you? And, I will not say their person's name, but, I think some of this comes back to self-sabotage when we're not valuing freedoms. Like, it's almost like a self-loathing thing. Like, I'm just going to work as much as I can until I die. I don't really care because I don't love myself enough. And I would argue that, we aren't placed here for any particular reason to work ourselves to death. Certainly not in this great country. And I know there's a lot of people out there that, sometimes you do have to hustle. Sometimes you do have to go out and work that 18, that double shift, that 20-hour day. Trust me, I've worked plenty 20-hour days. Sometimes it's just unavoidable. I totally get that. But I'm going to give you guys some homework. And if you do the homework, I would love to hear from you. If you didn't do it, that's okay. But you can message me privately. But, on Facebook, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can reach out to me on Facebook and just message me privately and let me know what your thoughts are. But here's the homework. And I gave this to someone, and I'm not going to call them out because I'm really interested to hear what their experience has been. But I want you to write down 10 things that's amazing about you. 10 things that's amazing about who you are. About why people just naturally gravitate to you. 10 things. Okay? Let me know when you've written that homework down. Okay, I'm watching. All right, ready? Okay, so there's another step to this homework. So when you've written those 10 things down that are amazing about you, I want you to write another 10. Okay? So you've written that first 10 down, and you write 10 more things that are amazing about you. Okay? And then after that, you're going to write 10 more things. 10 more things that are amazing about you. So, yes, altogether it's 30. I don't want you to be, if I said 30 things, you'd freak out. But I just want you to write 10 things that are amazing about you, about yourself. And do it when you're quiet. Do it when you can be peaceful. Do it when you're going to be uninterrupted, when you're not going to get 38 buzzes on your phone. Do it when you can be quiet and intentional. And I really would love to hear some of the answers that you have. So do that, do the homework, and I would really love to hear some of your answers. If not, you don't feel like you have to share it, but that's just one of the things I'd love to hear about. So anyway, that's all I have for today. I think you're going to find that homework truly amazing. All right. Everybody, I want you to have an awesome rest of the day. It looks like the snow has stopped for just a minute. I'm going to be heading on to a virtual meeting here at one of the local RIAs, so I'm excited about that. But in the meantime, I want you to place a value on your free time, because guess what? If you don't, someone else will. But most important, there is no amount of money that will make time irrelevant. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you next time.